Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to take some time to talk about the last and final original Yonko, and our favorite red-headed man of mystery, the one himself, Shanks. Now, even though he hasn't had much contact throughout our story with Luffy, Shanks could be considered one of Luffy's best friends, and he has a lot of concern about the happiness and the actions that this young man in the straw hat has been taking on his journey to become king of the pirates. Shanks has shown that he puts all his hopes in this new generation, even giving up his arm to keep Luffy safe so that he could follow the dream that he and his crew are now pursuing. So just as Shanks gave up his arms to save Luffy once, it may be that in the future there will be challenges that Luffy will not be able to face, so Shanks is going to help Luffy and may even lose his life to protect the life of this Straw Hat pirate. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of Shanks giving up his life during some great battle so that Luffy can survive or go on to defeat a major opponent. But before we dive into that, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like or maybe even giving us a comment about what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, maybe share the video with a friend or even the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So friends, from the beginning, Shanks has always supported Luffy to become a great pirate. Even if at times it seemed he was a bit mean, saying that he never could be a pirate, kinda, chiding him when he was little. Now, he kinda said this because at the time, Luffy of course was too small to become a pirate, but when he grew up, he could follow the same dream as his, which was to put together a crew and head out to sea. Shanks also considers Luffy a great friend, even though he's kept a good distance from him, because he saw that in this boy, there was the same level of determination that his former captain, Goldie Roger, had. And he knew that Luffy could succeed in finding the One Piece. Another thing to consider is that when Shanks gave up his arm to save Luffy, it wasn't just that he kind of bet the future on Luffy. He also, in that moment, gave up on his dream of becoming the greatest swordsman in the world. All this so Luffy could survive. This immense act of friendship is really what sealed the bond of them together. And so Shanks also entrusted Luffy with his greatest treasure, the straw hat that he had received from Roger before he left the crew. After heading back out to sea, Shanks waited anxiously to receive future news of Luffy's deeds. And he's followed Luffy's progress from afar until that one fateful day where they'll be able to reunite and maybe even come together for some unknown future goal. After Luffy managed to acquire his very first bounty, Shanks was one of the first characters to show happiness, because finally Luffy had set out on his adventure to become the world's greatest pirate. Shanks has also really looked forward to meeting Luffy after he's begun his journey as a pirate, but still their goals remain different, and this meeting is not yet possible. Each time, Shanks will talk about maybe it not being the right time, even like we saw he did after Marineford. But recently we saw that Shanks' interest in meeting Luffy is seeming to peak, but it may be that this meeting occurs after a very difficult time for Luffy. Now that Luffy has supposedly defeated Kaido and managed to awaken this fruit considered legendary by the Gorosei, he's going to be sought after by other pirates and marines, and this is all going to start a major, maybe world-scale manhunt for Luffy. There's even a possibility that Luffy could be captured by the marines during this journey. So as Oda said, the final battle is going to be much bigger than the one we saw in Marineford. So a good scenario for this big battle to take place would be if Luffy was captured, or maybe even another crew member captured by the Marines. And now, even though Luffy and his crew are quite powerful, there are still characters that can beat him because they know a lot about his power. The Admirals and the SSG have more than enough power to match a Yonko. So Luffy could be captured if they combined their forces and went after Luffy. And to capture him would be the biggest battle really ever seen in One Piece. This would also create an interesting twist in the plot where Luffy wouldn't be able to really fulfill this kind of big role in the fight, and he would be dependent on his friends to come save him. But the Straw Hats are not maybe powerful enough yet to confront the Marines along with the SSG. So besides the crew, we may be looking at something that comes onto the scale of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet coming in, and all of Luffy's other allies that would come to the scene to save Luffy, to keep his life from getting taken by the Marines. And visibly, Shanks would go to this battle to save his friend Luffy. And once a battle or event like this started, it's gonna pull everybody into it. And we could easily see other enemies appear to disrupt the combat, one of which would easily be Teach, who has recently been gathering really powerful pirates to his side for some yet unknown reason. As we know, Teach somehow possesses the ability to take other users' powers for himself, and we don't yet know what the limit of how many powers he can take. So already we know that he has two devil fruits. First, the Logia that has the power of darkness, in which he said he could take the life of an ally and get the fruit. And then of course he has Whitebeard's former Quake fruit, where he managed to get it after he lost his life at Marineford. So a lot of people in the community have been speculating that perhaps Blackbeard's looking to go for the trifecta and find a Zoan at some point. Currently, Luffy's power is apparently the most powerful Zoan ever demonstrated, which may make Teach interested in his specific power, and maybe he's just gonna wait for the right moment to get it for himself. But this is something Shanks just would never allow, and he would give his life to keep Luffy alive, and to prevent Teach from getting even more power, because if he succeeded in this plan, it would be really kind of a game changer for the whole world. So Shanks then might go directly to confront Teach, and with Luffy's other allies, where it might even be Shanks' job to take on Teach, while Luffy's other allies go to free Luffy. And in this confrontation, we'd see that several other important characters would come together for this same goal. Even Sabo and Dragon might appear in this confrontation, along with the other revolutionaries. Because after all, Luffy is Dragon's son and Sabo's brother, so they're not going to allow Luffy to lose his life either. So with the alliance of the pirates who are already under Luffy's command, the red-haired pirates, and the revolutionaries, this would make the greatest force that the world of One Piece had ever seen come together. This really armada, for lack of a better word, would have the same goal of not only defeating the Marines and the SSG and even Blackbeard, but they'd be out to free Luffy so that Teach couldn't take his life and his powers. There's also the possibility that during this confrontation, we could see other characters lose their lives. Because if we consider what's just happened in this Wano arc, we lost two of our comrades in the battle to bring down Kaido and Big Mom. So other people losing their lives to save Luffy or at least further the goal is very possible. And one of these characters could very well be Shanks. Taking on Teach, it really could be Shanks who ends up having his ending, which would bring the final matchup between Luffy and Teach to an even greater and more exaggerated importance. And for everything we've seen, Teach has something up his sleeve, some secret, some hidden power that makes him extremely dangerous. And during the past, Teach has been responsible for making a scar on Shanks' face. So it could be that in his fight with Shanks, here he has something that puts Shanks at a total disadvantage. And now that Teach has the possession of two devil fruits in both those powers, and also the time to have grown his ability, this may make him really kinda undefeatable against Shanks. And somehow, this could open up the opportunity where he'll kinda end this business that he's had with Shanks and take his life. But, you know, this may not be something that Shanks would ultimately regret doing, because he'd be giving his life so that Luffy could make it out of this fight alive, because they're great friends, and he knows what is on Luffy's shoulders and the real thing that he has to do to save the world overall. And one of the great hopes, now that we see this Wano arc coming to an end, is that maybe this could be the time where we finally get to see Luffy and Shanks see each other once again. With the news going around the world that Luffy was able to defeat Kaido and still managed to awaken his fruit, this may be the thing that Shanks has been waiting for and will cause him to go to it. Because this may be the thing where now it's the right time for him to meet with Luffy and let him know what yet still lies ahead of him. For if there's one thing we know, it appears that Shanks has been waiting for Luffy to get to a certain strength so they can meet. And this was proven when, after we saw the Whole Cake Island arc end, where Luffy was called the Fifth Emperor, Shanks was very pleased with Luffy's progress and stated that Luffy was almost ready for them to meet again. But with Kaido's defeat, this could very well mean that Luffy is ready to finally have this reunion. I mean, everything indicates that this could be the next thing after the Wano arc. With Luffy becoming a Yonko, this may be the thing where Shanks is going to consider that Luffy is now ready to take on the next phase of his mission, and that he's worthy of conquering the One Piece treasure. So he would go to meet up with him and clear up some very important details and further our story and fill in some much needed intelligence and backstory. One of these real important things could be about Joy Boy's history. Roger, during his venture with the crew, he managed to acquire the knowledge of the world, and this would be about Joy Boy's deeds and what he did during that void century. And besides that, Shanks has also managed to acquire some of his knowledge since he was been part of his own crew and moved out, so there's no telling what else he knows. Even though Shanks has so far acted like he didn't know about Joy Boy's existence, it really could be that he knew what was going on, and once he saw Luffy eat the fruit, he knew that it was just a matter of time before Luffy unlocked it and then could guide him through the rest of his journey. One other thing to think about is that before Roger gives up being a pirate, he gives his hat to Shanks and says something that ends up making him cry. Now, this could be some secret that's connected with Joy Boy and even Elbaf, for in this place there seem to be some very immensely important secrets about the sun god Nika. So when Shanks does meet up with Luffy, it may be to guide him to places that Roger may have passed through to get information about Joy Boy and further on his mission. Because it may be this title of Joy Boy that makes one worthy of conquering the One Piece, because of this strong determination. And we've even seen where he's proven to Shanks multiple times where he had said that he was going to become king of the pirates. But of course, at that time, Shanks just told him that he was too young. But now that Luffy's proving that he could in fact fulfill this childhood wish no matter who stands in his way, it may be that not even this emperor could stop him. So Shanks may be that supportive person, can work in every way possible and has worked in every way possible so that this young rubber lad could achieve his goal of becoming king of the pirates, and even, if needed, give his life so that Luffy can achieve his dream. Something we also have to acknowledge is that Shanks at some point is gonna be defeated. This is gonna be the thing that decrees the fall of the old Yonko system and the new generation that is taking on the title of Yonko and creating this new dynamic in the world. But before that new generation can take over and be the leaders of this kind of new world, really Shanks is the one that's left to be defeated. I mean, Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido have been now defeated by this new generation. So Shanks has now got a target on him, and some pirate is gonna go after him to try and bring him down. So in conclusion, we could very well see that Shanks has been all along kind of in the shadows, waiting to guide Luffy, and is looking and may be positioned to where he will end up sacrificing his life to save Luffy from some powerful enemy. And this could be a thing, like an Ace-style moment that could make Luffy evolve even more to achieve his dream and fulfill the goal that Roger could not in the past. Because Shanks knows that Luffy can make this happen and has really just been waiting for the moment to see it, because all those years ago, back at the beginning of our story, he saw that fate and maybe this devil fruit had chosen Luffy and had already started him on this path. And Shanks, for his part, is just waiting to see how this whole story unfolds. But for now, let us know what you think about it. Who do you think could bring Shanks down, or what kind of situation do we see Shanks kind of sacrificing himself to save Luffy? Let us know what you think in the comments below. As we wrap things up, friends, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, maybe give us a like or hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.